Toku Secrets is a podcast run by the Anime Secrets website. Check us out at animesecrets.org for more anime, video game, tokusatsu content. Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts today.
Hey everybody, it's Jason from Power Rangers Time Force, and you're watching Toku Secrets Podcast.
Welcome to Toku Secrets. Join us as we journey into the marvelous world of Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, and many other tokusatsu. Get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. It's Morphin time! Link to the Morphin Quest. I'm Nathan Desai, the dazzling adventurer, Boken Silver.
I'm Patrick Allen, I'm Shinken Red.
And I'm Rizwan Merchant, Gokai Red.
And I'm Anthony Davis, also known as Curie Green. And we're Toku Secrets.
Hey, welcome everyone to episode 119 of the Toku Secrets podcast presented by animesecrets.org. And we have the whole crew on here today. We are going to be reviewing episodes 41 through 45 of the current Sentai that's airing, Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger. We know that we said in the previous podcast that we were going to do our Timeranger endgame review, but here's the thing. We saw how great this batch of episodes were, how great these episodes were, and we thought, nope, can't delay. We got to get this posted as quick as we can. So, we're looking very much forward to reviewing these episodes. A lot happened in the previous batch, but that's nothing compared to what we're about to get here. All
aboard the hype train.
All right, so we're going to do a brief recap of last time. Most of the episodes, we got some details, fleshing out the backstories of Yama and Kaguragi in the midst of a bunch of episodes where the King-Ohgers were fighting to retake their kingdoms. Basically, every kingdom except Shugoda was retaken. So Himeno took back Ishibana, Kaguragi Tofu, Rita, Gokan, Yama, Inkosopa. And in particular, during the struggle for Inkosopa, the King-Ohgers were able to unlock new powers, and they were able to destroy Goma, one of Dogdead's jesters. This was actually a ploy set up by Rackless, who wanted to become a jester himself. And it was actually revealed by Rackless that Gira is a creature created by Dogdead, although we don't know if he's telling the truth or not. And the previous episode ended with the King-Ohgers preparing to face off against Dogdead. So that jumps us into episode 41. I'm not going to reveal the title because the way they reveal the title of this episode is one of the most awesome title reveals in all of Sentai. So I'll tell you what the title is when I'm done telling you what happens here. So in episode 41, the King-Ohgers, after they fight off Dogdead, during which they had trust issues with Gira, Rackless asks Dogdead to give him the power to kill an immortal because Gira is immortal and he's the only thing standing in their way. So, and he also has this plan to have people pile into the castle so that they can leave Shikyu to go find a new world. Now, the King-Ohgers are preoccupied with disarming the bombs rigged to their thrones, although Kaguragi's turns out to be fake because he's actually working in league with Rackless. Rackless gets on a one-on-one duel with Gira, during which the two fight, and there's a pause. There's a pause in the duel where Kaguragi arrives and gives the lance to Rackless, and he took the lance from Gira earlier in the episode, and Rackless becomes King-Ohger and beats Gira into submission. And with Gira cornered, Dogdead arrives and gives Rackless the power he requested to kill an immortal. And he dubs Rackless one of his jesters. But just when it looks like Rackless is going to kill Gira, he turns around, he strikes Dogdead, and it is here that we learn the title of this episode, as Rackless declares, and this is the title of the episode, "It's time to save the universe." And that's how episode 41 ends.
What a episode.
Yeah, so what do we think about this one, guys?
Honestly, this was such a crazy plot twist that I don't think any of us saw it coming. Not until the last second. Whenever he got the powers to kill an immortal, I was like, it'd be kind of cool if he used that power to, turn on Dagdod, but didn't see it happening for real. I thought it was like a wistful thinking of a fan. But no, he went there. He did it. And in doing so, he undid 40 episodes of me hating on him as a really good villain.
Yep. Like overnight, he just becomes a great character. And I'll just say this, like the way that episode ended, like I just thought like, okay, maybe I'll watch one episode and then I'll watch 2 tomorrow and then 2 the next day. But the minute I watch this episode, I'm like, nope, I got to see the next episode now. I don't need no sleep. I need answers.
Like I literally put this episode on as I was gonna go to bed. I figured, okay, I'll watch one episode tonight at like 1:30 at night, and then I would watch the others in the morning. I ended up staying up late to finish all 5 episodes.
Yep.
And now I'm waiting for 46 to drop.
Yeah, I was relaxing in my chair watching this, eating something, and then this reveal happened right when the title of the episode showed up at the end. I had to sit up and lean forward because I was like, oh, it's go time now. Yeah, the long con to just to play the most satisfying Uno reverse card in human history.
Did you want to say something, Anthony?
Oh, okay. I'm actually really glad I watched these episodes, like 5 episodes straight, because the reveal after reveal after reveal was just like mind-boggling to the point I'm just like, wow, like that legit happened. I kind of did see it coming too at the last second because I'm just like, wait a minute, he has the power to kill immortals now, so like, that would mean that the Space Blood King is immortal too. So that, that put 2 together, that was the obvious result. But I still like how it was executed though.
Yeah, totally. We can't really talk much about this one without going into detail on the second one, because that's where the meat really gets. But this is still a really good setup for that. Which is, I mean, the twist alone just made me want to come back and watch it. That's why I'm giving this one, I'm saving my 10 for the next one. I'm doing a 9.5 for this one.
Yeah, I mirror that sentiment.
Yeah, same. This is a 9.5.
And Anthony?
9.5 for me as well.
Good. All right, now we have episode 42, The Secrets of Rackless, which this is kind of the show's requisite filler episode, but is it really a clip show episode? Because, I mean, not really, but well, you'll figure.
No,
you'll know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So while Rackless and Gira are fighting Dogdead, we get a lot of flashbacks from previous episodes, as well as new footage to kind of recontextualize old footage, where we pretty much find out everything about Rackless's past. So Rackless, 17 years ago, he was the newly crowned king, and he was confronted by Dogdead. Dogdead had just killed his father, and we're going to learn more about where his relationship with Dogdead kind of started in the next episode, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But the point of that is that Dogdead killed Rackless's father and mocked him for it. And seeing just how evil Dogdead was, Rackless vowed that he would stop Dogdead no matter what it took. And he figured, in order to defeat this great evil, I have to become evil myself. And that's what led him to try and harness the King-Ohger's power. That's what we saw him try to do. In the first episode. He tried to become stronger by acting all pally McPow-pow with the Bugnarok, in order to gain even more power. But his plans were complicated. When Gira came in and kind of threw a whole wrench in the thing, Gira stealing his Kawagadoja power, and also destroying the King-Ohger Zero, which he created, since, Dogdead wouldn't be able to control it. Kaguragi also kind of got involved with this plan. That's why he's been secretly working with Rakwas on the side. And eventually, around the point where the trial by combat happened, Rakwas had a plan where he was going to take the fall so that Gira could become king and keep the people of Shugodum safe. That's what led to their trial by combat. He wasn't killed during his final battle, but he was severely hurt, and he was actually given a sleeping potion by Suzume, Kaguragi's sister, and he spent the next 2 years. Well, he appeared to be dead when they put him in the coffin, but he's actually spent the next 2 years speaking with Dog Dead, gaining his trust. And that's what's led up to this big moment where he's given the power to kill an immortal, also he can get to this moment where he's going to kill Dog Dead. And that brings us to the current present time period where Raklis and Gira successfully defeat Dog Dead. Gira acknowledges Raklis as his older brother. He calls him Onichan for the first time, which is a huge deal because acknowledging someone as your Onichan is that's a massive honorific. I mean, to give you context, my wife, has 2 younger siblings, and her sister looks up to her and calls her One-san, but her brother doesn't like to call her One-san as much because it has a really massive meaning. So Gira calling Raklis Oni-chan is pretty big when you understand the context. And Raklis makes Gira promise that he will save the people of Shugodum before he collapses unconscious. He supposedly dies, but then the other King-Ohgers arrive and say that they're going to save Raklis' life. So a lot just happened. Anybody want to give their thoughts on it first?
Okay. As the official Toku Secrets financial advisor, it is my duty to tell you guys that the Gira stocks have risen exponentially, and the Kaguragi stocks have risen exponentially. Patrick, I'll let you continue from here because I know you want to say something.
He just had to get in his stock market advice real quick. Yeah, going back to the point you were bringing up earlier, Nate, I can't really consider this a clip show per se because it was using the clips from a different perspective. But it still did have the same effect as a clip show, but this was the best use of something like this because it told his entire story, the entire story from his perspective, and it turned this guy from one of the most unlikable characters, and I don't mean that in terms of bad writing, I mean that in terms of how they wrote him as a bad guy, because context matters in that case. Looking at you, Riz, and your Geki Red rants. It took him from one of the most unlikable.
Look, man.
There he goes.
I am completely 110% justified in my Geki Ranger hate. Specifically in my hate of Jan. I am 110% justified. I don't want to hear that garbage from you. I don't tell you you're wrong for thinking Geki's garbage. Geki's garbage too, but Geki Ranger's worse. Dang it.
I was just saying perspective because there's 2 different ways you can say a character is hateable. Either the story wrote them as despicable or the story wrote them horribly. 2 different. But he went from one of the most unlikable characters in Sentai to, I think you put this best yesterday, Nate, when we were trying to record this episode the first time, probably the best extra ranger in Sentai history.
Mm-hmm.
And it just did a complete 180 for this. But also this episode, I think it fixed Kaguraki for me. Because he felt so unstable inside of this team, and now everything that he had done up to this point is completely justified and understandable. Where he was the only one in on it, and his betraying of the team was to kind of help stay the course the whole time. So, yeah, like what Riz said, this helped Kaguraki a lot, and it helped Gira a lot, and it completely flipped Raklis around. So I'm just gonna say this is the best episode of the season so far.
Again, them stocks be rising. They're all approaching that S tier, and we don't know how.
And honestly, I would say that this is the best use of a clip show that I've ever seen in any show. Sometimes the clip show episodes have been fine. Like Time Force's clip show episode is great because it like showcases how much Wes and Jen and maybe Eric to a lesser extent have changed. Good clip show episode, but this is on a whole new level where like they're using the clips as like a part of the episode to kind of show like the twist is Rackless has been doing something this entire time, and they're giving us old clips but they're filming new footage to kind of recontextualize everything to make it to show what he was planning all along. Like this, I don't know, like King-Ohger writing is so great that they can even make a clip show episode not seem like a clip show episode.
Okay, literally, can this season do anything wrong? Because I don't think so. Normally, the clip shows are the things that we hate.
I mean, the only thing it could really do wrong is end.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, Boom Boozer has to happen at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, unfortunately.
Them suits.
You want to add anything, Anthony? You've been kind of quiet.
So I know that you guys are saying that, you know, Rackless is, you know, like doing all this and you feel that, you know, he's not as bad as he said before. But I'm going to say something that probably will not agree with you guys. He honestly is still not a good person. Yeah, sure. His intentions were to stop, you know, Dog Dead and you know, being the Space King and all that stuff, right? But he still did a lot of messed up things, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can say for the sake of the kingdom and all that, but it doesn't change his sins, and it doesn't change the fact that, you know, he put his brother through a lot of stuff that he didn't necessarily need to put him through.
Mm.
So the way you described it, Anthony, I was thinking of, have we ever seen a character like this before? And we just wrapped up a character like that, Naota. Mm-hmm. He's not meant to be liked, but everything he's doing is for the greater good, but he's still a dick, right? Like,
yes. Mm-hmm.
He's still garbage at the end of the day, personality-wise, and what he did. Mm-hmm. So Naoto is the closest comparison, but I think Rackless stocks are much higher than Naoto stocks.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Rackless's actions were directed toward a good cause, and his intentions were directed toward a good cause. While with Naoto, it's more like Naoto wants power, and what he does with those powers does ultimately help the greater good since he's stopping the Londars, but it's not like he wants to stop the Londars because he wants to protect people. He wants to stop the Londars because he just wants to go out puffing his chest and flexing his muscles and saying, I'm powerful and all that, which that's not what Rackless was doing. So
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
I mean,
well, he was strong. He was trying to pretend to be that, but that's what he was. But that's what he was. He was giving that image that what he wanted, but it wasn't truly what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just, you know, I don't want people all of a sudden think that we're supposed to like all of a sudden, you know, hop on this guy's bandwagon and say, oh, he's such a great guy. And it's like, I mean, yeah, you can say that he, yeah.
There's a difference between saying he's a phenomenal character and saying he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I think he's a great character, but he's not a good guy. He's a dick.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, even skipping ahead to the next episode, he even admits it. Like, I'll just a point that gets brought up in the next episode. We'll go into it when we get there. But he even admits that. But I'm not going to like totally fault him for everything he did because I think he needed to make it believable. So he kind of had to push some boundaries to make Dad think that he was actually on his side. The only way he can get close enough. So it was one of those. Right. I guess you kind of had to do things you didn't want to do to get the ultimate job done, and you can kind of see it in his voice a little bit. He does feel guilty for that. Yeah. So
because you have a point. Because I mean, like you said, what else could he have done? Because guess what?
Exactly.
I'm gonna create a false scenario that could maybe bring logic to people who may like still be kind of like, oh, I'm not sure why he just do this. Okay, if he decided to be honest with everybody from the get-go, one, they're not probably not gonna believe him. For two, they're probably gonna look at him like, are you crazy? There's no space bug king or whatever. You're nuts. Like, or he might end up dying before he even chance to even say those words.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's one of those. He was putting a rock in a hard place, and he was playing desperate the whole time. And when you're playing desperate, almost everything's on the table to do. So
yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't like trying to dismay anybody from what I'm saying. It was just I'm trying to just bring a different perspective, because I don't want people thinking like.
No, it's a very understandable perspective because, like I said, even going to the next episode, he agrees with you.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, I still stand by my claim that, as far as like the Sentai Extra Rangers are, like this guy is easily the best. I mean, the only people that I think could compete with them, I mean, I know technically Hyuga, the Black Knight, is in this category, but I consider him a sixth ranger, even though Gokaiger considers him part of that group. But I guess, I mean, Gokaiger considers them part of this group. Maybe Rio and Melee, but they're more like villains until like the last bit. I honestly can't think of anybody. I mean, the Extra Rangers in Kyoryuger, I mean, they're fun characters, but they're not. Yeah. They're not insane.
How is Kruger in Decker Ranger? Is he the same kind of character?
The same kind of character, but I prefer Kruger in SPD.
Yeah, I've heard Kruger is a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're both named Kruger, by the way. They have about literally the same name.
Okay, Shadow Ranger versus Decamaster. Is Decamaster on Shadow Ranger's level or no?
No.
Maybe. No. Yeah, I prefer Shadow Ranger because Shadow Ranger has more of a. They emphasize Shadow Ranger's tragic backstory a lot more in SPD than they do in Decker Ranger. I guess Karu from Shinkenger, but she's great, but she's only in the series for like 5 episodes.
Karu is not on the same level.
Her presence and existence is more important than her character itself.
Exactly.
That's true. So.
Like she's like the template we use for Rockless, I think, but she's nothing special. I'm sorry, Patrick. I know your Shinkenger bias is going to show in a minute.
No, I'll be real. Her character is just, okay at best. Like it does her character does her job. That's it. Yeah. So.
And I mean, I don't know about any of these other ones. Like I don't know anything about Juo Bird from Juoger. I don't know I don't know whatever they call Void Knight.
Exactly.
Rackless is just in a league of his own when it comes to like these Extra Rangers.
What I was gonna say was that I have both known about Zuo the Bird and I know about Guy Sorg. Well, at least mostly with Guy Sorg. I can't.
Is that what
I can't. Yes.
Okay.
I can't spoil it, but like.
Yeah.
Doesn't who?
Well, doesn't Zen Kaiger and Dawn Brothers also have Extra Rangers too?
Technically, they are the villains.
Okay. Like Rio and Melee.
Yep.
Okay. Would you say that Void Knight is better than whatever the guy is in Rio Soldier? Would you say Void Knight is better?
I don't know. Void Knight's better than Real Soldier's character, I think.
It's kind of difficult because unless you watch it, you won't know. You won't understand what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, I'll be getting there pretty soon. So
we'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, but what do we want to give? We just kind of went on a bit of a tangent about Extra Rangers. What do we want to give 42 out of 10 guys? And we already know what the answer is for everybody here.
Patrick started
it's 10.
10, and I'm giving the next episode 10.
Best episode in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stocks have risen exponentially here. This might be an 11, dang it.
Yep.
This is an economic boom, man.
Not
right,
a
let's move on.
boonger.
Get out.
Oh my god.
Boom, boom.
Oh, so you
I
can
want
do the jokes and I can't do
segue
it.
into
Oh,
the
so you can
next
do the
season.
jokes, but I can't do the jokes puns.
I want
Perfect segue into the next season.
I want to go on the record here, Nathan, and say that it's not just me now; it's also this one down here.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, apparently there was a poster released with Boonger where they had 2 more Rangers. Like
The
was
purple
one
and
of
the
them
It was
orange.
a white.
Yeah.
Or it
Yeah,
was
white
orange and black.
or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It was black. Okay.
Yeah.
Another Orange Ranger. I know someone who's going to be excited about that, but I'm not going to mention his name in this podcast. I'm cool with the guy, but everybody in this podcast knows who I'm talking about. Which I'm not on bad terms with the guy. He's fine, but he has a very unhealthy obsession with Orange Rangers. Anyway, so episode 43, The Overlord's Deadly Sin. This is another episode where we get a lot of exposition. Rakwas is put on trial, where we learn a bit more about his past. So, for 2,000 years, the royal family of Shugodum, Rakwas' family, they secretly served Dogdead. He was the true ruler of Shikyu as like this evil god, and they were actually waiting for the right time to kill him. And this came to like a critical point when King Cassus, that's Rakwas' father, he requested destructive power from Dogdead as a reward for being loyal to him for 2,000 years, and that resulted in Dogdead using his powers to impregnate the queen, which resulted in Gira being born as like this weird evil Jesus Anakin Skywalker baby. I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I mean. And she died giving birth to Gira. Gira's existence was kept a secret, and Cassus looked at Gira as nothing more than just a tool to help them kill Dogdead, but Rakwas refused to accept this. Like, Gira's my brother. I love Gira, and I'm going to treat him like my brother. Now, at some point, Gira lost his memory, and Rakwas had him put in the orphanage to keep him safe when he became king. That's why, we've gotten to this point. But now, while all that's happening, the King-Ohgers get into a fight with one of the jesters, Minogon, during which the power turns them into kids. And this is actually kind of a comic relief moment where all of them are turned into kids, but Kaguraki is technically turned into a kid, but when he's 10 years old, he's still played by his adult actor, because apparently people in tofu are like really strong. This episode takes ideas that have been done in previous Sentai episodes, and they still do it perfectly. Like episodes where Rangers get turned into kids, they somehow managed to make that even better than when it was done in previous ones. Because the only time I remember it being done, well, okay, it happened in tokusatsu frequently, but I know it was done in Geki Ranger, but... Oh, wait, I'm not supposed to mention that. Okay, thank God. I didn't trigger anything.
You did, but I held my tongue.
Okay, good.
You got the death glare.
Yeah, he did just give me the death glare, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, no, screw Geki Ranger.
I know. But the important thing here...
The thing I was going to say, the reason I unmuted, I want to know what the heck they feed their kids in tofu for him to be that big and buff.
Yeah.
Like, I need some of that diet in my life.
Yeah, totally. I could have used some of that when I was a kid.
Inject every vegetable with steroids.
I'm gonna say it was a lot of rice.
Yeah, probably.
Probably that and broccoli.
Yeah. But they're able to free themselves, and they destroy Minogon. But then he actually survives, and his body sheds to reveal Dogdead, because Dogdead is so powerful that he can recreate himself. And the episode ends with Rakwas being convicted of his crimes. Rita wants to give him the death penalty, but with Dogdead still alive, they agree, we're going to let you live just a little bit so that you can help us destroy Dogdead first.
Dag Don it.
Okay, Anthony just gave a bad pun, and now you give your bad pun, Riz. Come on, man.
I gotta show solidarity with Anthony because he's trying to join the Pun Master group.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what do we think about episode 43, guys?
The plot and the story developments we get here to give a backstory for why Rockless did all this stuff is really awesome. Like, I thought it was good enough that Rockless turned and we would have the implicit idea of he was planning this all along, but now we get the details of why he did it and how he did it. Man, the stocks of the season are keep on gonna rise, man. Them stocks are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Patrick, I think you want to say something.
Yeah, like what I was trying to talk to Anthony about last time about how he knows what he did was messed up. And when he was admitting everything to Rita, he said, "Can you scrap this stuff from the record books? I don't want people to see me in a good light. I want to go down as like a villain in the history of Shiku and everything." I was like, man, that's heavy.
But he has to ensure Gara can do what Gara has to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Rockless expects to live beyond the death of Minogan. I can't say his name. Minogan?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I don't know if I want to use the term respect for this guy, but I kind of understand where he's coming from. It's like he admits that he did a whole bunch of horrible stuff for the greater good, but he doesn't want to be glorified for it all. He's a pretty deep character now.
And I want to use this to kind of just give I think this episode is kind of where I realized that this is where the writing here is. It doesn't feel like it's a tokusatsu show, but it's a tokusatsu show with the writing quality. I'm talking early seasons 1 through 4 of Game of Thrones level. I know that the seasons after that, that show has an infamous ending. I'm not talking about the whole show all the way through, but
the ending is only bad from midway through season 7, which is the final season, and even then, it's only really the last 2 or 3 episodes of Game of Thrones that are really bad.
Yeah, yes. I know. But I mean, think about it. We have a different world that's ruled by an evil god and we find out here that he's been pulling the strings behind an evil family for years, and he's just toying around with the world. He could flick his pinky and kill everyone if he wanted to. We're talking about a Thanos level type of villain. And for 2,000 years, there's been a family trying to take him down. And, there's this one guy who we all think is the villain, but then it turns out he's just been conspiring to kill them. This feels like a very high quality show. Honestly, the more I think about this, I'm just thinking is this really a Sentai? Because the writing quality of this seems like it should be illegal for a show like Sentai.
It's funny. I feel like we're retreading these comments because we said the same thing last podcast about the one with Kaguraki's history with his kingdom's ex-king or queen in that instance. We were like, I forgot I was watching a Sentai. All of a sudden, people in suits and monsters showed up. It was weird.
If they want to keep doing all these high quality shows, just keep bringing in people that didn't work on Sentai before and only previously worked on Kamen Rider, and preferably the good Kamen Rider season, since this guy worked on X-Aid, which I hear is really good. Don't bring in the
really
people.
Good.
Don't bring in Decades Rider.
And don't bring in Wizard's Rider either. If you want to bring in Forze's Rider, okay, fine. I mean, I like Forze, okay, but I don't know. Just bring in more Kamen Rider writers.
That's why I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you, Nate. But I just had to say this. That's why Riz and Patrick needs to watch more Kamen Rider. Because you get stories like this in Kamen Rider too. I know most people are like, Kamen Rider is not really Sentai, but it's it's just as good. And I promise you, there are good Kamen Riders out there. XA is one of them, by the way. I don't lie to you, but it will pick up later. I'm trying to think of what else.
Yeah. I just need
Drive has his moments
point,
too.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my problem is that I've watched Ghost and Decade.
You watch the word. You watch the bad ones.
Words?
That's your problem.
How to say? Aren't those the two bad ones?
But I mean, if you want an idea of like how like the only other writer I know who's worked on Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, and we've talked about her. We just finished reviewing another Sentai from her, Yasuko Kobayashi. She did Shinkenger, she did Ginga Man, she did Timeranger, she did Go Busters, and she also did Kamen Rider Ryuki. She did O's, which is my favorite Kamen Rider season, and she did.
I've heard good things about O's.
I hear people like Dino. She did Dino.
Yeah, but I've heard good things about O's and Ryuki for sure. Ryuki's the one that had that weird random English adaptation.
Yeah, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight.
Dragon Knight, yeah. Yeah, I've heard good things about that season too. Okay,
I'll
I'll
check
those two up.
But aside from, that writing, I think the other thing I really want to give the shout out, this is the other thing I want to bring up. I love how the writers are doing both. One of the things I was really afraid of when we made that big revelation about Gira, even though I thought maybe Rackless was just faking it, was that I was afraid, okay, are they going to throw away everything that they've been establishing between Gira and Rackless? Like, they're just going to throw all that away and have it turn out to be fake? And the answer is no, they're not doing that. They're doing both things. Like, yes, Gira is a creature created by Dog Dead, but he also is someone who was Rackless's brother. And it's a weird way, like they have a weird connection, kind of like how, Odeon and Merrick are technically brothers in Yu-Gi-Oh!, even though Odeon was adopted into the family and Merrick was born in the family. But like I like how they do that. They're giving they came up with a very creative way to make that twist actually be true, but also not betray, like just throw away all this drama that they've been setting up for the last 40 episodes. I mean, again, this writing is just so creative. Again, like I can't help but just keep saying I've never seen a Sentai with this level of writing quality. Like this type of writing should be illegal in a show.
No, it should be legal, and all the other writing should be illegal.
Yeah,
okay.
Don't tell me this should be illegal, and then look at Zoo Ranger and say that's fine. That's the crap outlaw.
Right.
I mean, okay, so honestly, this season is probably why I was a little bit harsher on Timeranger, because I'm watching King-Ohger, which is phenomenal, and then Timeranger, which would have been a great season, was dragged down a little bit because King-Ohger is just so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, Boom Boomcher is going to have its work cut out a lot to follow up on this Sentai.
I am praying to God it's a parody.
It's a parody, most likely. It's most likely.
When I saw the poster and in the sky it said "Coming Boon," I was sitting here hoping that it was a new Car Ranger. I hope it's a new Car Ranger.
Oh, I forgot to give my thoughts on the episode itself. So,
go ahead.
Can I say this one thing? Let us talk about. I know this character is not really important on the grand scheme of things, but I'll need to give him a shout out for this. Boshamir, the second advisor to Shugodum, he definitely deserves some praise in this episode too. Because before he died, he literally was defending Gira from Kamajime because he was going to try to kill him. And I was like, wow, like he legit died a hero only for him to be, take some alien take his place and be Space Bucking's spy or whatever.
No, definitely that guy deserves some props for what he did because his stocks also rose.
Yes. Because a lot of people didn't really like. Go ahead.
As that also puts into perspective how long ago it was that guy was basically masquerading as him.
Yeah.
Because when he was revealed like during that episode right before Gira supposedly killed Rackless, I thought that was a relatively recent thing, but no, it's been like that well before the season started.
Yeah, I thought it was like in episode 20 or something, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, same here.
But what do we want to give 43 out of 10?
9.5.
Yeah, I'm doing
9.5.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have episode 44. Proof of the Kings, the True Alliance of the Six Kingdoms. These next two episodes aren't as like jam-packed as the previous three, but they're still kind of important. So Rackless reveals that during the original conflict with the Bugnarok 2,000 years ago, the heroes used a grand power to seal them away. This power has been stored in different trinkets and heirlooms in each of the kingdoms the King-Ohgers bring, but they have to become one in order to unleash the power. They require a leader, which results in the King-Ohgers getting into a trial by combat, by fighting over who will become the leader. And Yama wins, but the power that he uses to win drives Shikyu into chaos, and he like gleefully looks on, like just admiring this new power that he has. And, but Gira is able to talk him out of it. It's just saying like, Yama, you have the power. You have to use it only to protect the people. And he and Gira ultimately come together and they destroy another one of the jesters, Hirubiru. And the episode ends with the King-Ohgers deciding they're going to reactivate the Alliance Pact. They're going to work together as one. And that's able to unlock the grand power. And this turned out to be Rackless's plan the whole time. Like, these people hate me, so I'm going to tell them to do the exact opposite of what I really want them to do. I'm going to tell them to do something knowing that they're going to do the exact opposite. And that'll ultimately let them unleash the power. Like, this guy is like the ultimate 4D chess player, in all honesty. But what do we think about episode 44, guys?
I have to talk about the ending a little bit because I love how this is my favorite moment for Yanma in the whole series up to this point. He had this moment where he was taken over by, what was her name? Hirubiru? Yeah. Also, side note, I'm glad she's finally gone. She was annoying the crap out of me.
Dude, same.
Anyway. I know, right? God, she was irritating. But he had this moment where he was taken over by her, and you get more insight into Rackless here, where he's like, once you get power, it corrupts you, it changes you, and you kind of understand more why Rackless was so into his job, even though he was playing a long con with Dog Dead and everything. And this affected Yanma so much that he came to Gira and said, I want to reform the alliance. And then the other kings come up and it's like, yeah, he came to each of us individually and asked if we wanted to reform it. And we thought he was crazy because this is not like him. And I love the line. He said, well, people can change. I'm like, I guess the one who always to me came off like he didn't want to be a part of a team was the first one who came to the others and said, I want to make us a team again, like an official full-on team. I love this moment from Yanma so much.
It's really a big character moment for Yanma. Like, for him to realize he can't do it alone. Because in this episode, he's going power hungry. And he has no control, and he realizes, oh crap, we can't do this. My tendencies are going to get the best of me. I need you guys to keep me in check. We need to become a team again. And so, as Rita calls it, the Sixth Kingdom Counter Outlandish Element Strategic Rescue Squadron is born.
And it's not an acronym.
The term outlandish. Yeah, it's not an acronym. But the term outlandish being in there makes it amazing.
Yeah. Well, this season is outlandish. I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
Anthony, do you want to say anything about this episode? I mean, you have hashtag King Yama in your little description, so I'd imagine you really like this episode.
Of course, yeah. Well, yeah, definitely one of my favorite episodes. Just the fact that, Yama is growing as a character, and it still was growing as the series started to just now. It's really impressive, and I'm honestly glad that he's our Blue Ranger. You know, I'm actually glad that he's on the team. If No Scopo was a real place, I would have want to be there. I would live there, honestly.
100%, because I would be in heaven. I'd probably become Yanma 2.0.
And
the arcades in that place must be incredible too, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like the VR here is nothing compared to what's on there. Trust me.
Oculus Rift sucks.
To kind of give I kind of preview what I'm going to say about Yanma. I mean, to kind of go, it's funny how Riz kind of said that, Timeranger kind of got bogged down because he was watching this Sentai, at the same time. I feel kind of bad saying this. I've said in the past that ISA is my favorite Sentai Blue Ranger. And honestly, if we reviewed Timeranger before King-Ohger started coming out, that would still be the case. But yeah, I swear, I'm just saying, man, ISA is my favorite Blue Ranger of all time. Nobody's ever going to surpass him. Well, Yanma is basically saying, yeah, hold my beer.
Yanma would be like, hold up, Nathan. Yeah, ISA ain't on my level. Try again.
Yeah. He calls ISA raccoon brains and punches him.
That's exactly what he would do.
And then Domon runs up to Yanma and punches him.
Yeah. What do we want to give 44 out of 10, guys?
Well, hang on. I do want to make one more comment here.
Okay, go ahead.
So, this is a lesser part, this is a lesser talked about part of the episode, I feel like, for everyone, even online. Okay. The amount of detail and planning these guys had for the story, to have planted 20, 30 episodes ago, Rita having that ice power, and,
Yeah.
That was planted 20, 30 episodes ago. And then everyone has one. Because we thought it was just a Gokon trait. But no, this is every king has their own thing. So, the planning, man. I mean, when we go do the rewatch of this thing, so many little small things.
Yeah.
I'm curious if there were any hints towards Rackless, actually being on their side from the start, outside of, the obvious things like Kaguraki and him being buddy buds and stuff like that. But yeah, rewatching the season is going to be fun.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those Sentais where you can't just be satisfied in just one watch.
Nope.
Exactly.
Like there are some where, I watch it once and then I'm fine. I like Kyoryuger, but I could just watch that one once and then just be done with it. Same with I'd never want to watch an O-Ranger again, but
you will.
We're going to have to, sadly.
Yeah.
Most of the Showa era seasons are ones where it's like you watch them once and they're fun, but you don't want to watch them again. This is one of those times where I would have to watch this 3 or 4 times just to get some satisfaction.
Yeah.
What do we want to give 44 out of 10?
9.
I'm going to go with a 9.
Yeah, I'm going to do a 9 too.
10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Fair enough.
Hey.
For his
I don't
boy
put
team
hashtag Team Yama for nothing now.
It was his boy's shining moment. I understand his 10.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll accept it this time.
Yeah, you won't accept it regardless if you say it or not.
Dang.
Anyway, let's move.
Sassy as heck, isn't he?
Let's move on to the final episode of this batch, Heir to the Kings, episode 45, where this episode revolves around Rita and Kaguragi dealing with some issues closer to home. So at the beginning of the episode, the King-Ohgers decide that we're going to take the fight to Dog Dead, and they want to train to become they're trying to train to become a bit better with the power, but they also approach Suzume and Morphonia respectively, because they're thinking, hey, if we die, we might not come back. We need some people to take over Tofu and Gokon. But the two kind of have some reservations against it because Morphonia is kind of timid because, she used to, we actually find out in this episode that she was actually the child of two thieves, and she and Rita met when they were in law school together. And Suzume has like some reservations because she's married to Rackless, and she genuinely loves Rackless and wants to be with them. And Kaguragi and Rita get injured training with the new power, while the other King-Ohgers are battling Minogan. They fall victim to Morphonia and Suzume fall victim to a spell that turns their memories back 10 years. And Gira, Yanma, and Himeno also have their minds reverted to like an infant state where they're physically adults, but they're acting like babies. Like Himeno is like sucking on a pacifier or something like that, and so on and so forth. And Jeremy's taking care of them. But most of the episode revolves around Rita and Kaguragi trying to talk with so Kaguragi talks with Morphonia, and Rita speaks with Suzume, and they reveal like their true intentions. Then the two of them are able to come together to destroy Minogan, so that's another jester that's dead, which means I think there's either 2 or 3 left. One of them is that Grody guy. I can't remember the other one, but there's like if we count Dog dead, there's like 3 of the main villains left. The episode ends with Kaguragi and Morphonia saying, "You can live your lives how you choose." Suzume is kind of contemplating over what she wants to do, but Morphonia accepts that Rita's invitation to be her heir, and that's how the episode ends, and the match of these episodes. So what do we think about this episode, guys?
The dark implication that they're assuming that they may not make it back from an attack on Dog Dead alive is unsettling when they start talking about it. But I thought this was just a fun episode because the season not only does a good job of fleshing out its main cast, but the supporting cast around each king has had their own episodes. So it's like this whole world and the entire cast of characters we see along the way, it's just so much going on.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a very complex and very colorful and enlightening world. And they did a phenomenal job because they made us care about side characters, which aside from Timeranger, when's the last time we cared about a side character?
Well, there is one side character in Gingaman that I really like.
Yes, we haven't done Gingaman yet. So.
Yeah.
But we didn't care about
Gin from Shinkenger. I liked him.
G?
Housekeeper.
The mentor?
Yeah, G, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's all right.
You can't hate that man.
You can't hate him, but he's not like he's memorable, but he's not somebody I would like say, oh yeah, thinking back, he's a great character,
And
well, I mean,
I
think the thing was we didn't hate him. I think that was the question. We didn't hate him.
Yeah.
I like this episode. One thing I like about this is that we're actually given I thought Suzume was okay. I feel like honestly the flashbacks with her and Rackless kind of made me like her a little bit more. But I feel like this has really fleshed her out. Like with Morphonia, it's pretty easy. Morphonia has been an established character. We've seen her. Nothing to talk about with her. She was fine. She was already a good character before this episode. Nothing to talk about with her. But with Suzume, half the time she just felt like a plot device. Like, oh, she's there to be someone to get married to Rackless. Or, oh, she's there to be someone who knows how to unlock the castle mech thing. That, like, she's a plot device half the time. But here, by this point, she's a bit more human, and I feel like this episode kind of solidifies that for me.
Well, I think having Rackless's backstory fully revealed is allowing them to explore her a little bit more now also. Maybe exploring Suzume earlier would have been a little bit too risky. I don't know.
Well, if you explored her too soon, the Rackless thing would have been revealed sooner, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. So
yeah, because I think one thing we don't really talk about a lot in this podcast was Rackless and Suzume are actually goals. Like they're good.
Oh yeah, like they're genuine,
Yeah.
very genuine. So
Like, I didn't think they were genuine because I just saw Suzume as like brainwashed teeny bopper running after her crush or something. But nah, man,
Yeah.
this is the real deal.
yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, it also. Go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what I was gonna say was that it honestly shows you how deep of a bond between Susume is with her brother, because, like I said, they were, if this had gone south, she was prepared to kill that man, and I was like, oh, so that's very interesting. I was about to say, yeah, what? I don't know. This episode was pretty okay, but it wasn't like, it was good character moments for Rita and Kaguraki, but I didn't really like. It didn't really hook me like most episodes do. But it wasn't due to our main two King-Ohgers. That has nothing to do with it. It was just it felt like, more of the usual, like, oh, we're gonna do something crazy to some of the cast so they can be out of the way for our other two characters, and I'm just like, they didn't have to do that, but
Yeah. Well,
I feel
okay,
like this
they're
is
allowed.
meant to be.
yeah, it feels very calm before the stormy.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Also, they're allowed one episode that's more fillery.
Yeah.
Because they
I didn't
haven't
hate
really
it by
had.
the way.
No, I didn't hate it either. I'm just saying they're allowed to have one or two filler episodes because I don't think they've even had a filler episode up until now.
Nope.
Maybe that episode where Gira officially becomes king just before the time skip, but that was a long time ago.
I don't even think that was filler. I think that was pretty plot needed because you needed to see him become king.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, I think that's the first one that we could have been like, okay, we don't truly need this episode to have the story.
But honestly, I mean, even if it is a filler episode, I mean, it's a filler episode done well, because the best Sentai use their filler episodes to give characters that they may not have given as much focus in the past focus. Like, I mean, Shinkenger did that with like 90% of its filler episodes. There was only like one or two that felt like true filler episodes. So, yeah, I mean, it's a filler episode done well.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So, just so we're clear, the other just so that got frozen, I guess, is he like, he's out of the picture completely, right? We pretty much not gonna see this character again.
Minogon?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's destroyed.
Okay. Because I think okay, so with Rita using ice and Kaguragi using fire, I guess to help mitigate the ice effects that usually is supposed to, like, I guess, paralyze or like freeze the user as well.
Well, I think it could also just be that, I mean, now they have the power to kill immortals because Yama established that, like, they copied that power that was given to Rakwas' sword to the other calibers. I mean, I
think it's only in the caliber though. I don't think they can use it with their special power.
Oh, okay, but
no, I think the way you look at it, and maybe I'm wrong, I think so. You saw in the early part of the episode, Rita tried to use the freezing thing to put Kaguragi's fire out on his body, right?
Yeah.
And then she ended up getting frozen like a popsicle. So I think Kaguragi using the fire here was to prevent Rita from turning into a popsicle again.
Yeah. Because
so
that's kind of what Kaguraki said, is like, maybe our powers are meant to kind of mitigate the downsides of other people's.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because especially when I like that note that they had earlier where it seemed like their powers are counterproductive to what their country represents.
I think this might be a good thing, because by permanently freezing this guy, they can prevent Dog Dead from reviving himself again. Because remember, that Pacific Jester is specifically created to revive Dog Dead every time he dies. With him out of the picture, once Dog Dead is gone for good, that's it. There are no revives. There's no more lives, he's done after this.
Yeah, I think all the really good, all the like really game-changing gestures are dead because they killed Goma, who's like body swapping abilities almost kind of made him immortal. They killed Hirabiru, who can do mind control, and now Minogon, who apparently had the ability to help Dog Dead revive. Grody seems powerful, but unless he can do something, maybe they'll make him good at the last minute. And the only other guy, Kero Jim, who, the only thing we know that he's been able to do is that he can mimic people, but that's about it. So I don't know. I think all the big game-changing gestures are
they
dead.
killed him once. They killed him once already, so they can kill him again.
Well, that could be a fake out for all we know. They do the Space Bug King's influence. What I was going to say lastly was that what if they actually can, since they established that why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? Grody, is it Grody or Grody? I can't remember how to say his name. Grody, since he's also technically immortal too, wouldn't that be a way to kill him too? Because he just is immortal as, Dog Dead, or maybe even more, because he's a necromancer too.
Well, technically they have the power to kill all of the immortals. So
So
although I hope that the final episode with Grody is an episode about Himeno, because she kind of has a personal.
She needs to be the one that kills him.
Yeah, she got that beef with him.
If you don't let Himeno do that, that's like not letting Guy be the one who defeated Gray and Jetman. Like, that's how bad it would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do we want to give 45 out of 10, guys?
I'll give it an 8. It's a little bit more tame compared to everything else around it, but it's still a good episode.
I want to give it an 8 too.
8 is fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can move on to the analysis. We don't really have to talk about villains yet, because I feel like, we might see more of Dog Dead,
Dog, dang it.
Yeah, Dog Dead. Dog Dead in the last 5 episodes. And we really can't put Rackless as a villain anymore, so that's how big of a shakeup this is.
But
so
I think we can talk about like predictions like going forward, because there is one thing I want to bring up.
Okay, go for it.
So I think the next episode or 2 will focus on showing us Himeno's power, and I don't think we've seen Gira's power yet. Really,
wasn't it kind of saw wasn't it kind of implied that Gira's power was the crown?
Yeah, but
because they made mention of that.
Yeah, but I'm assuming there's something more to it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's more to the crown. I think Himeno hasn't even mentioned what her power is, and I don't know what Zermi's doing. So I think we're going to focus on them next time, and they'll turn into babies or something.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, maybe Jared. I don't know who I would like to be the person who ultimately takes down Kirajim. Like, maybe Gira, I guess. Like, we've established that Himeno needs to be the one who takes down Grody.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If you want to give Jeremy his moment to shine and have him take down Kirajim, that'd be fine.
Because they do have a personal grudge going back to the first half of the season. So
yeah.
Oh, okay, then yeah. I think Jeremy would be the perfect one to take down Kirajim. But now I guess, and you know what? We kind of have to include Rackless in this. I'm sorry, there's no way to work around this. We need to do our penultimate Ranger rankings, except now there's a huge wrench thrown into that, because now we have to count Rackless as one of those people. So
I'm going to go first because I'm very easy to rank.
Okay, go ahead.
All 7, because you're making me do Rackless now. They're all in the S tier category, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, I don't. Totally.
I can't rank them anymore. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm not even trying.
Yeah, it's down to like splitting hairs at this point on how I would order these characters. It's like it would come down to like, who do you think is the best versus who's your favorite? It's hard to do, but
I have my favorite, but
I mean, that's how I might have to rank them. So I'd probably go like Himeno and then Gira, not Gira, Himeno and then Yanma and then Jeremy, Gira, Rita, Kaguraki, and I don't know where I would put Rackles. Probably number 2 or something. I don't know. I need to see the rest of the season before I can properly judge him now.
This is why I did the S rank, and I'm just saying that's it.
Yeah, I was just throwing darts at the wall with this ranking this time.
Yeah.
What about you, Anthony?
Yama's still number 1 to me. Like,
you don't
Fair
say.
What about the rest of them?
honestly, this is kind of hard because, like I said, characters, but I don't want to rank them either. Just come back to me at the end of the series, and I'll give my
That's what
thoughts.
that's what Riz was doing. He was like,
Totally.
I'm just cheating the system. I'm just cheating the system.
I told Nathan yesterday I'm not going to rank him, and if he makes me rank him, I'm going to tell him it's all S tier.
Okay, fair enough. All I know is that I would probably for me, I would still have Jeremy and Yanma. I would have Jeremy, Yanma, and Rita up on the top, like the top 3, probably in that order, honestly. Mostly because I guess I agree with Riz that these are all S tier characters, but I put Jeremy, Rita, and Yanma up top because these are not just S tier characters, but I would argue that these are probably like the best characters in their category. Like Jeremy is the best Sixth Ranger I've ever seen in Sentai, and I know that's going to hold because I don't think that I've never heard anything good. I mean, I hear some good things about Kirame Silver, but I have no doubt that like Jeremy is still better than him, and all these other Sixth Rangers, I don't hear good things about any of those. So Yama is still the best Sentai Blue. I know that. Rita, if I insert her into that that category of like pink/white, Rita is the best. I mean, the only other person I would consider better than her on her level is like Suda Hime from Kaku Ranger, but that's about it. Maybe Boken Pink, although I'm kind of pushing it with that, but like, so Rita's there. Then I would put Kaguragi and he. Well, actually, no, I would technically have to put Rackless there too, because Rackless is an Extra Ranger, and we've established that he's the best Extra Ranger. Then I would put Kaguraki and Himeno there just because I don't think they're the best yellow and black Rangers. Like Guy is still number 1 for me as a Black Ranger, and for yellow, I still prefer Domon and Kotoha over Himeno. Yeah, so they're both top 5s. In fact, I kind of feel like I'm going to have to take down my top 5 Sentai Black Rangers post that I posted on my blog specifically so that I can put Kaguragi in there just because he's that great. I'm going to have to take down a lot of those top 5s now.
I'm telling you, man, the stocks are rising.
Yeah, and the same goes for Gira, although like I don't think Gira's the best red, although I might want to put him in my top 5 too, but I
think
would
red
still
is a little bit too heavily contested.
Yeah.
No, red is still.
He's got a lot more competition.
Red's still dominated by Marvelous and Takeru.
Yeah, I would still consider Marvelous and Takeru to be like the big 2 duo. Maybe Gira, would be number 3 under those because maybe I consider him a little. But who would be the third one for you, Riz?
I don't know, but I want to see more Sentai to give you the answer.
I think Ryoma, because we're about to get introduced to him. I think Ryoma has a valid case to be in that above him.
I was going to say that. But they're all S tiers. Like, maybe Gira is technically the worst because maybe I would put him in my top 10 reds. Maybe not the top 5. But, everybody else, like with Kaguragi and Himeno, not number 1, but they're in the top 5. And everybody else is number 1. And I'm sorry, I've been hyping up. I spent every moment before this Sentai came out saying that Time Blue is my favorite Blue Ranger, and he's still a top 5, but Yanma, especially in this batch of episodes, has really established, no, he's not your favorite. I am, you dumb raccoon brains, and you're going to like it.
I mean, I'm the one that was like hesitant to call ISA the best when we were doing the earlier Time Ranger episodes.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I think Yanma's gonna win this over one day.
And he's won me over, and I fully accept that defeat.
Now, I'm waiting to see if Jimeno will beat over Domon or not. That's my only question left.
Yeah, well, hopefully with that episode where we see her hopefully be the one to take down Grody, that'll show. But maybe I would rank her at least ahead of Kotoha, but not Domon.
Yeah.
I still put Kotoha as my number one for very selfish reasons, while fully acknowledging that Domon is number one. But maybe Jimeno will be that person who I put as number one technically.
I mean, for me, it's Domon, Luca, Jimeno, but I probably will put Jimeno over Luca right now.
Yeah.
Because I put Luca second for selfish reasons, but if I'm being academic about it, she is moving on to number 3.
Yep. And I would
look, Patrick. I can kick my bias. What about you?
I mean, I like Kotoha a lot too, but no, Domon, like, it's not even close between those two, honestly.
Yeah.
And I would probably take out. I hate to say this because I know Anthony's a fan of this character. I would probably take out Maji Yellow from my top 5 and probably put Jimeno there. I would keep Mega Yellow.
I mean, that's on
5,
you,
but not Maji.
But I'm not gonna say anything about it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for my
Mega Yellow in. Yeah.
I'd leave Mega Yellow. I mean, I guess I would. I mean, I don't know. Black is a bit tougher. Like, I guess maybe I would take out. Maybe I like him as a character, but does he deserve to be in over Kaguraki? Hell no. And that would be Ian from Kyoryuger. Like,
not even close.
Yeah.
No,
he's the one I'm taking out of my top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian's a cool character, but Ian's a cool character, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's not
Ian
better
Kaguraki.
No.
Yeah.
But guys, do we want to give our closing thoughts on this before we enter the last 5 episodes of this already legendary Sentai?
I'm going to quote the ex-president of Nintendo of America. My body is ready. I want these last 5 episodes now.
I just have to say, Patrick, when you said the word ex-president, no, I didn't know where you're going to go with that.
Yeah, Reggie Fils-Aimé, you know who I'm talking about.
No, I know who you're talking about now, but
yeah, I know. See, I led you on.
When you said
not intentionally, but I led you on.
What a evil person you be. All right, close it out, Nathan.
Well, this wraps up our penultimate King-Ohger podcast. Next time, we will be posting our Timeranger endgame arc, and over the course of the next couple of podcasts, we're going to be doing our review of Time Force and our Time Force versus Timeranger versus, because we're going to have to wait a little bit for King-Ohger because we want the next couple of episodes. Right now, I know episode 46 is out, and episode 47 is going to be coming out the coming Sunday at the time that this video is being recorded. So we're going to be taking a bit of a short break for King-Ohger, but we will get back on it the minute that episode 50 is subbed to do our final review. So just an update on that. And in the meantime, we'll also be doing our Ginga Man review very soon. We're definitely looking forward to that. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, leave comments down below with any commentary. You can also check us out at animesecrets.org, where you can listen to the Animated Classified and Jedi Squadron podcast. And if you're listening to us on Spotify or iTunes, that also applies. Please give us a review out of 5 stars. You can reach out to us on animesecrets.org for any commentary you'd like to give us, and we will give a shout out to you guys. And that about wraps this up. We thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to our penultimate King-Ohger podcast. We'll see you next time for our Timeranger in-game review, and you can definitely bet that we will be right on the end game for King-Ohger when that comes out. But until that time, you guys stay safe. We love you, and may the power protect you.